Thank you all again for coming. Can you hear me okay? We've been doing displays for a long time, and it's all about blinking, flashing, but from my standpoint, it all starts with a song. That's the first thing that goes into your display. That's when we load up the programming software. That's the first thing that we consider, is what song are we going to play. And my background, I lean heavy on that, and you'll see why, because my background. About me, my name is Joel Deering. I'm currently Chief Executive Officer of a company called Virtual News Center. I worked at radio stations for a long, long time in markets like Knoxville, Wilmington, North Carolina. Did South Bend, Indiana for the entire length of the 80s, San Antonio, Chattanooga, I can't hold a job, Roanoke, Lynchburg, Hamilton, Oshkosh, Green Bay, among other places. Formats that I've worked in: contemporary hit radio, did top 40 for years. Country format, adult contemporary, soft rock, classic country, smooth jazz, contemporary Christian, and of course, designed some Christmas formats along the way. Some of the radio concepts that I've picked up along the way you can apply to your show if you want to. 3 words: it's your show. You can do whatever you want, obviously, because it's your show. But if you're interested in attracting an audience that's going to enjoy your show, then maybe some of these tips and tricks will work for you. Things like song selection. Once you pick your list of songs, placement of those songs and how you stack them. What's between the songs? Yes, we run some announcements, but there's some other options of what's between the songs. And then something that you may consider for your production value, multiple songs in a sequence. And then we'll touch on some copyright things as well, because what goes between the songs might step on that. As far as song selection, people know what they like, but they like what they know. And there's some research out there by a company called P1. And if you look up P1 research, they do a music test every year of about 400 people that are really into Christmas music. And they get their opinions and what songs they think are the best Christmas songs. Year after year after year, it's Rocking Around the Christmas Tree and Jingle Bell Rock 1 and 2. They may flip-flop a little bit, but those are the most popular Christmas songs. And how old are those songs? Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas Is You, came out in 1994. It ranks about 6. It's still a great song. It's still very popular. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't play some of the other things, because remember, it's your show. But sprinkle in the hits, because that's what makes the audience happy. Novelty songs. Always fun to have a novelty song, but sprinkle it in between the hits. Here's a fine example of a novelty song that I think is just hilarious. Cannot hear it. Was there? Yeah. Because I hear it somewhere else. Joel. Joel, change your input. Change my input. We heard it. Well, you heard it through the computer speakers, all right? Yeah, you heard it through the computer speakers. Anyway. Shortest song in the world. Theme nights. I know a lot of people, and this is going to be, I might step on some toes here, and I apologize ahead of time. A lot of people do theme nights, and if somebody rolls up on your display on a Tuesday, and they're hearing standard Christmas songs, and they're hearing the hits, and they're hearing the songs that they really love, and they tell their friends, and they come back the next night, and you're doing military night, and there's nothing wrong with that, or kids night, there's nothing wrong with that either. They're going to go, that's not what I told my friends about. I want to hear Christmas songs. So reconsider a theme night. Now, maybe what Paul Wood does, he puts a section of the songs into his mix that, coming up in a couple of minutes, we're going to honor our military. He plays a couple of military favorite songs. So that way you're not doing an entire night of country night. And so all of a sudden people have the perception that your Christmas display is contemporary hit Christmas songs, and then they roll up in here, Reba McEntire. Just my thought on theme night. Mix them in as opposed to devoting a whole day, a whole night to that theme. Formatics. Stacking the songs appropriately. Make sure you've got flow and balance in the music. We'll get into that in a minute. And what's between the songs, and make sure that what's between the songs gives you forward momentum. They're tight, that the essence of the songs are pleasing to the ear. In the radio business, we're rated by a company called Nielsen. You might have heard of them, they do TV. There's a metric in radio ratings called TSL, called time spent listening. In our hobby, let's change it to time spent loitering. We want people to hang around our display. We want them to come and sit and watch every single frame of what we do, because we put a lot of hard work into it. So let's figure out a way to increase the time that they're going to hang around and loiter. As you're looking at your list of songs, consider some song coding. And you'll do this in a spreadsheet. You've got 8, 9, 10 songs, so it's easy to just dump them in a spreadsheet. And consider these song codes. Things like, what kind of tempo is the song? What's the gender of the song? Is it male, female, group? What kind of energy does it have? Is it a low energy song? A hot song? What format is it? Is it a pop song? Is it a country song? An oldie song? A faith-based song? Is it a standard song from Nat King Cole is considered a format of standards? What era? About every 10 years, 50s, 60s, 70s, 90s, 2010s. What's the mood of the song? Is it a down-tempo, moody song? Does it make you sad? Does it make you smile? Is it an up-tempo song? Sorry. Mood not being up-tempo, but mood having an up mood. Artist separation. Very seldom do we play 2 songs by the same artist in our stack. But if you do, if you're running 9 songs, put one at the top and one in the middle, so that way you have better artist separation. Type, whatever you want it to be. If you've got some metric in your head that you say, well, this song is really this type, then you can create a separation for it. Theme, I've put the type of songs that we play. In our format, we do Jesus songs, Santa songs, love songs. A lot of current Christmas songs these days are just love songs with holly wrapped around them. And then family songs. What style of the song? Is it a country song, country rock song? Is it a soft pop song? Is it a dance song? And then if you're really getting into the weeds, you can do beats per minute, and then also key balancing as well. That's really the minutia that not a lot of people do. So let's take a look at a potential list of songs for a show. We've got Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, Jingle Bell Rock, the 2 biggies, Christmas in Dixie, Alabama, Light of Christmas, Wizards in Winter, All I Want for Christmas Is You, the Elf Song, the Christmas Song, White Winter Hymnal, and Christmas Eve by Kelly Clarkson. Not a bad stack. We're going to sort these by tempo, era, gender, format, and theme. The goal is to get a song balance. When you sort these the first time in your spreadsheet, let them marinate for like a day, and then come back and go, that doesn't sound right, and you flip them around. So if you take a look at the columns, in the tempo column, there's no down-tempo songs back to back. The Elf Song by Crowder has got some tempo to it, but I consider that really a slower song than some of the other songs that are in there. Era balance, there's no 60s back to back. There's a couple of 2000s that are back to back. But the older songs are spread out and sprinkled. With the format column, the pop songs are spread out, the oldie songs are spread out, the country song is between pop and country. So it's giving you the texture of variety in your music mix. Gender, no females back to back, couple of males back to back. Spread those out if you can. And then looking at theme, we've got a lot of Santa songs. Maybe you might want to consider removing a Santa song and putting in a different type of theme. But no family songs back to back, no geography. We've only got one geography song. The idea in mind is you play Christmas in Dixie. Are you going to play Christmas in Hollis? Probably not. How about Oklahoma Christmas? Probably not. But if you do, and those songs are good, just consider that you don't want to put them too close to other songs, just to give you balance. And then, if you notice, I didn't play White Winter Hymnal by Pentatonics. Anybody know why? It's a great song, very pretty. You hear it in concert, the harmony is amazing. I personally like the song, but I didn't put it in because of the lyric content. If you listen really closely to the song, it's about people marching off the war and dying in the snow. Really not a Christmas song. So I chose to leave that one out, even though it's gotten a lot of traction in the Christmas lighting community. And if you want to play it, say it with me now, it's your show. After you set these up and let it sit for a while, to your ear, how does it flow? How does it sound? Is it going to make my display sticky? How does it sound from song 9 to song 1? Because somebody might hear your display that way. Tail end of the list, going back to the start of the list. How does that segue work? So those are some things to give you balance in how you set up your songs in your display. I've got some more audio coming up here. Are we going to be able to hear? Okay, maybe. We'll see. All right. Between the songs, also very important. We also do, the thank yous, of course, that either we have professionally cut or we cut ourselves. Be nice, show respect to your neighbors. Don't make me come out there. Sometimes we have that issue. But also drop-ins. Drop-ins are small pieces of audio that help bridge between two songs, that can hopefully put a smile on their face and get you out of something kind of odd and back to a standard. We're going to be able to have audio this time?
Yeah, let's go to your settings real quick. Your audio output.
Audio output.
That may not get in all the way. We'll try again, and I'll just right click on the sound icon and try to make sure your output is.
Got a hammer?
Got a hammer? Somewhere.
So drop-ins. Let's see what we get here. Here are examples from my show where I took a drop-in and dropped it in between a couple of songs. Come on, you can do it. No. Everything went black on the display.
Hey, who turned out the lights?
So not only can you use drop-ins between songs, you can use drop-ins in the song. I do that also with Charlie Brown. Grab the piece of audio from the Charlie Brown Christmas. Here's another one.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Into the next song. Knopfler song.
Well, isn't that nice?
I mean, how do you go from an Irish drinking song singing White Christmas and Andy Williams? That was a way to bridge that gap and without just going into it.
I love the holiday season.
Gotta have a little Homer in your show. Get you from Elton John into David Foster. So how to find drop-ins. Look at your children's DVDs, or if you're like my family, we have no kids. The government asks us not to reproduce. And so we have our own DVDs, so you use those. Check YouTube, Astros, we'll come back to that. Record holiday specials, Christmas in July from TV, BTV, antenna TV, the older TV stuff usually works good. And then, in my opinion, cartoon audio works best. The Warner Brothers cartoons, Bullwinkle, The Simpsons, stuff that's very well known works best. Less than 10 words. Now here's something we hope you really like, 7 words, okay? Less than 10 words, it's got to be quick. Get in, get out, make sure the audio is dry. As you're scanning for your drop-ins, if you're going to use them, you want to make sure that there is not music underneath it, there's not stuff in the background. It really needs to be dry audio. And sometimes you find a great drop-in, but you can't use it because there's a laugh track. How to harvest what you collect. If you've got a DVD, you're going to record a chunk of it. When you find the drop-in that you want, if it's 5 seconds, you're going to record 10 seconds on either side of it into Audacity. If you use that, or whatever audio editor you use, normalize the audio, make sure that the audio is at a good level. Don't record it in there hot. You can record it at a low level and then bring that up, because if you record it in there hot and you distort it, you can't fix the distortion by turning it down. Once digital audio distorts, it's distorted forever, no matter what volume level. So it's best to record it low and then bring the volume up. Use fade in and fade out where needed. Listen to your audio, don't watch it. I get a lot of drops from the Addams Family. It's for the Halloween show. They do say a lot of funny things. But if you watch the Addams Family while you're listening, you may not hear the drop. So put it in back and then just listen to it. And you'll find Gomez saying, "Those are some great Halloween costumes," and makes a perfect drop for your Halloween show. Listen to the background, we touched on that. Can it be edited? Talk about the Addams Family. I wanted so badly to use Lurch going, but every time they do that, the producers of the show thought that was the funniest thing ever, and they put laughter right after it. So I was never able to get Lurch into my show. Something else to consider with your show. We want to expose your audience, which is primarily your neighborhood. Those are your core audience listeners, your neighborhood, to as much as your other show as possible. They have lives, they do the same thing day in and day out. Unless you've got a line out the door starting at 5:30 when you start your show, maybe you stagger the start time of your show. I know with my display, I don't have a line at 5:30, so I'll stagger the start time. And one day I'll start it at 5:15, next day 5:30, next day 5:45. So that way, the people that come by after work, when it's dark, same time, they pass your display, they're not hearing the same thing over and over. So you expose them to more of your show just by doing a little bit of an offset. 2 songs in a sequence. I did this long ago, mainly because I was getting the audio right. I wanted that production value in my audio. And if I'm going to do a beat match on a song, for example, you've got to put 2 songs in a sequence. Doing it on 32-bit machines, I'm surprised I didn't catch the computer on fire. Keith used to just snarl at me. It's like, what are you doing? You just can't do that. Yes, the machine huffed and puffed, but I was able to put 2 songs in a sequence and a good transition between the songs. You heard Elton John into David Foster. That's all one sequence. So the sequence is about 7-8 minutes long. I like it because it gives me better production value across the entire sequence. Cons, it makes your FSEQ file huge. If you're running a computer that's only got 4 gig of memory, it's going to struggle. Today's computers with i7s and i9 chips and 16, 32, 64 gig of memory, they'll do okay. Here again, but you get a big FSEQ file. I run my show with X schedule. I occasionally get the turtle down in the lower right corner, but it's been fun. Word on copyright. I'm not a lawyer. I played one in a commercial one time, but we do a lot of, in the radio business, we deal with copyright a lot. Using your DVDs, slicing them up, and putting them in your show, in my opinion, because you own the DVD and you're just giving it away as part of your show, they won't bother you for copyright. I've been doing drops in my show for 10 years. Nobody's ever said anything. The minute you start to bring money into the equation, if you do a drive-through show and you want to put drop-ins between the songs, you better get a license for that copyright and pay your royalty. But as long as you're doing it for free, you won't have any issues. Shouldn't have any issues. That's the fine print. Just be careful if you decide to put money into the equation, that kind of changes the balance. But for the most part, nobody's going to say anything to you. Questions? I did a great job.